Back on the Rob Dibble Show, Ben Darnell in your afternoon drive. Nick Federico's on our YouTube channel video today. We were not allowed to use the cameras while Ben was gone.
Wow.
I don't think that was Ben's fault.
Not allowed.
Anyway.
They're in my don't touch box.
All right, let me preface this by saying when I played, there was only 50 players on the rosters, not 64. So we got 32 aside. So you kind of have to try to go out of your way to snub some of the greatest players in the game today. And let me second this by saying the first year I played, including Tony La Russa, I played against 10 future Hall of Famers on the American League team. I had 7 future Hall of Famers on my team. My second All-Star game in 1991, there were 12 Hall of Famers on the American League side, including Tony La Russa, and 9 players on the National League team that were future Hall of Famers. So I think it is such a stretch to make the All-Star team, and I made 2 of them. And one of those years we won the World Series, so I was having a great year the whole year. Now, that was voted on differently because the leagues used to have presidents. You had an American League president, National League president. They would sit down with the managers of the All-Star team and pick the pitchers. And so now you have it's different. It's some fans, some players, and some managers. And I don't even know if the commissioner has a pick, but I think there's finalists.
Didn't he have the legend?
He has the legend,
pick?
And he put I love Kershaw. I know you're one of the only 4 left-handed pitchers in the history of the game to get 3,000 strikeouts. You've been hanging around 5 years too long.
That's so true.
Love you, bro. Love you, bro.
Chance.
Give it up. Give a kid a chance. But you're taking up a roster spot. And now we're going to throw you an All-Star. This is worse than when Magic Johnson had HIV and they put him on an All-Star game at the end of his career.
I mean,
it was cool.
Jordan
the guy's dying. He's still alive, though, by the way, Magic Johnson.
By the way. You didn't know.
Yeah, if you didn't know. So, but in the Kershaw case, yeah, you're going to be a Hall of Famer, bro. You don't need to take one of those 64 spots, and here's the thing. We're going to say this today. It's going to change. I think 5 to 10 of these guys will not play in this game, and I think Soto will probably be put on the team. I think this is a little bit of a shake and bake here. So last year, let me see. I got to get this
Get you interested, and then all of a sudden.
Interested. Last year, there were 32 first-time All-Stars.
Dang.
This year, there's 19. And Seiyu Suzuki, that dude is a freaking monster on a great Cubs team, and he's not going to the All-Star game?
RBI machine, man. RBI.
Dude.
I think Tucker and PCA
So before I even get to Juan Soto and Mookie Betts, who should be perennial All-Stars, I was looking at, because we were talking about Mike Brown, I looked up LeBron James. LeBron James is a 21-time All-Star.
Should be there every year.
He should be there every year. He is one of the top ambassadors for your sport. I need to have him there All-Star Weekend. If I'm going to sell these tickets that are worth ridiculous amounts of money, my kid needs to see LeBron James. Maybe sign a couple autographs, maybe smile for a couple of selfies, but LeBron James needs to be Mookie Betts is one of the LeBron Jameses of this sport. A guy who's making $765 million, the highest salary of any sport in this country, is not at the All-Star game.
Multiple MVP.
Player of the month in June, leading his team in home runs.
Juan Soto. Yeah.
I don't give a rat's butt that he's not hitting high for average.
He's hitting 280, I think, now.
Most of these guys are hitting not high for average.
That's true.
So you're going to tell me from all of these guys on the National League team, I could go through this whole list. Ketel Marte? Nah. Brendan Donovan? Nah. Let's see. Will Smith? Let's see. Juan Soto could probably catch a couple of innings if I needed him to. Should be there before Will Smith or Hunter Goodman. The Rockies suck. They shouldn't have an All-Star. They don't deserve to have an All-Star. Hunter Goodman, proud for you, bro. Juan Soto should be there, or Mookie Betts should be there. By the way, Mookie Betts definitely could catch a couple of innings.
Yeah, he'd want to. Yeah.
So could Suzuki.
Yeah,
so the fact that you put some of these guys on there, Kyle Stowers from the Marlins. I don't care.
That was a charity pick.
I don't even know who this guy is. But yes, every team needs to be represented. No, your stars should be in an all-star game. Future Hall of Famers, like I said, should be in an all-star game. Not the almost good enough stars game. This is not for mediocrity or guys that are a little bit above average. These are the stars of the game.
Well, the one thing I hate that it's been with the roster sizes is the pitchers, where I'll only get 3 batters with a guy, 4, 5, 6 maybe tops. And I understand what happened the one year Mark Grace had to come in and pitch, and we got to put a bunch of arms out there. But to me, like, a lot of this stuff, it's diluted now because we all play each other. It's no AL versus NL stuff, but it used to be matchups. Like, you would never have seen the AL guys until the World Series.
No.
So the matchup of you, like when Harry Carey says, "Who wants to see Rob Dibble pitch to Jose Canseco?"
Yeah.
Like, that is, everybody,
or Mark McGwire,
get in the living room,
or Wade Boggs, or Cal Ripken Jr., or Ken Griffey Jr., or Ricky Henderson. That I'm giving you the lineup of the team that was the All-Star team that we faced in 1990. Bob Welch started. He ended up winning 27 games that year, and it was the second year in a row the A's would win their league, and then the third year would be the year after. So you had Sandy Alomar Jr., you had Mark McGwire, Steve Sachs, Wade Boggs, Cal Ripken Jr., Jose Canseco, Ken Griffey Jr., and Ricky Henderson. Half of that lineup were future Hall of Famers. You can't say that about what we're going to see this year, and that's what pisses me off, because you have the idiocracy of the story that I'm about to read you here is where a guy from ESPN, David Schoenfeld, is trying to tell you that Juan Soto's WAR wasn't good enough in the first half to make the All-Star team, or Mookie. Screw you, you idiot. Mookie Betts is on the best team coming off a world championship against the other best team, the New York Yankees. I want to see those guys because they're the 2 best teams in baseball as far as I'm concerned. That goes back to last year. For you to even bring a stupid, made-up statistic of WAR, and that's why you didn't pick Juan Soto. That's why Mookie Betts, who had 8 consecutive All-Star games in a row, was not put on the All-Star team. You guys are out of your effing minds, and I'm tired of it. The WAR, the catchers framing pitches now is a statistic. Runs saved because of framing pitches. You people are out of your goddamn minds with these statistics you throw out there like they mean something. They don't. If you're a fan, you love the game, one of the most recognizable stars of the game is Mookie Betts.
On the reverse, who are you happy to see either get in or to get a start in an all-star game? Like, who is?
I'm happy for all of them. Listen, it's an honor to be on an all-star team, and it should be. But you shouldn't be one of 64.
Yeah.
I was one of 50 2 years in a row. I was lucky as hell to be there. You know, and when I look back at it, yeah, my first 5 years were fantastic. My last 3 were awful because of injuries. But when you look at these other guys, they played 15, 20, 25 years. And Ozzie Smith and some of these other guys deserve to be there 15, 20 times. Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle. Baseball is a different sport. We don't water down all-star games. We pick the best. They battle it out. It meant something. God, back in the 50s, they played 2 all-star games.
I know.
They played 2.
Isn't that great?
And you know what? Willie Mays and all those guys, they played every inning of every game because you know what they said to the young guys? You sit your ass right there. Your time will come. But right now, I'm the man. I'm the best in this game in center field. I will play the whole game. That's the way it used to mean something to the players. And so over the years, because they tried to jam all of these guys from all of these teams in there, they lost their way.
I do understand the everybody gets a trophy and somebody gets an all-star.
It's an embarrassment.
Now, I don't want them necessarily on the team. Like, I'm cool if they're in the home run derby, or God forbid we set up some kind of
futures game,
or the futures game, or like a skills challenge like the rest of the league's all-star weekends. Like, why hasn't baseball come up with the skills challenge?
Because they got hurt. That used to have
but we're doing the game and we're doing the home run derby, and nobody wants to do the home run derby because they're going to get hurt.
Future Hall of Famer Barry Larkin, 1988, hurt his arm at the All-Star game doing that relay thing.
Thanks a lot, Buster Posey. Ruin it for everybody. I just feel there's some safe things that they could do to get people more involved with the game.
But there's a part of me, Ben. I know how much you love sports like I do, but there's a part of me, these analytics nerds love it when we don't put Juan Soto in, when we don't put Mookie Betts in,
so they can tell you the math problem that kept them
exactly. So we can take you to math class instead of gym class. And I'm one of those guys that used to get A's in gym. That's how I got to the big leagues. Okay,
boost my GPA.
That's right. And I'll admit I wasn't great in chemistry and mathematics, but man, I kicked your ass in gym.
Damn right.
And so to almost kind of write this article that and Clayton Kershaw is the legend. I could care less. I love the guy. I think he's amazing. But to me, I don't think All-Star and Clayton Kershaw, to me, at this stage of his career, are in the same sentence. I think guys like Mookie Betts, who keeps winning championships, we don't respect that. We don't respect Juan Soto. Let me ask you how many Met fans, and even Nick is a Yankee fan, how many of you people went there to see anybody other than Juan Soto or Aaron Judge have to hit off the best major league pitchers and try to hit home runs at that weekend series? Were you looking for like Starling Marte to come up there and do something special? Do you want to see him in the All-Star game?
To see how McNeil handles Fried.
Yeah. I mean, that's where we are as a society. We want to throw stones at the best. The guys that have earned the respect of their peers are on their way to the Hall of Fame if they can stay healthy. But, let's write a whole article about Juan Soto. He wasn't snubbed. He was replaced by some no-name guy that might have 3 good months in the big leagues, and that's the problem. Yeah. This Rodriguez kid from the Mariners, he hasn't been good in 2 years. This Michael Taylor with the Braves hasn't been good in 3 years. So we continue to I don't care about what you pay them. I have a standard in my brain that if you're not great, not good, great for 3 years, I don't even consider you an all-star.
Right.
I mean, the whole Mike Trout, Bryce Harper thing was a farce until all of a sudden Trout started to go down in talent because he was getting injured, and Harper has been a steady, consistent player. So it's those are two guys that should be all-stars. Trout should be an all-star. You want to talk about legend? Mike Trout's a freaking legend. He should be there before Clayton Kershaw.
Whoa. That is breaking news.
Yeah.
Jazz Chisholm there's a couple of these AL guys. Like, as a Yankee fan, can you make a Jazz Chisholm as an all-star argument? It's just got to be weird for those 3 Yankees. Aaron Judge, leading the league in batting average, leading the home runs. Yep. Max Fried, 11-2, could be the Cy Young this year. And those 2 pinstripes got to walk next to Jazz Chisholm. And he's hitting 245 and he's a clown show. He's been thrown out of games for doing stupid stuff. And why? Because he was on the cover of MLB The Show a couple of years ago? Is that why he is an all-star? Because he got a fan vote? Because he's recognizable?
Let me ask you, as a Yankee fan, when Juan Soto was a Yankee, who were you going to see, Jazz Chisholm or Juan Soto more?
Wow. Juan Soto, 100%.
I mean, I'm not trying to make my own point. Yeah. What I am is I respect the fans. These fans are walking around with a Soto jersey on. They're not grabbing Chisholm off the shelf. They're grabbing Soto. And yes, you love to hate him because he went across town. But if you're a Mets fan now, you're you don't even remember he played for the Yankees. You're at that series this weekend. You're hoping Juan Soto did something to smash the Yankees, and that's what makes baseball baseball. We have that Subway Series to remind everybody, listen, these are 2 of the most, over the last 40, 50 years, storied franchises. They've won championships. They've had amazing players come through both sides. But to me, when you're doing the All-Star game, it's to promote the game. Promote the next matchup that we throw at you. Not, hey, this guy had a good 3 months or this guy had a good 3 months. I don't care. And listen, I love Kevin Kernan, but when you're sitting around the locker room, when I walked into the first All-Star locker room, I was so far out of place because when I'm looking at the guys that are on my team, I'm going, damn, that guy is an All-Star. That guy's an All-Star. That guy, what the hell am I doing here? That's so for those 19 first-time guys, including this 34-year-old pitcher that's making it from the Cubs. I think Boyd.
Yeah, Matthew Boyd.
This is this is amazing for your life and your career.
Yeah.
I'm not putting them down. What I am saying is you have too many on each roster. It still should be 25. You have to start getting back to who are the best and the brightest in the game. Like, the holidays and guys like that, who are the young guys coming up, because those guys, they're statistically might not be there, but those are the ones that are selling your sport. They are the ones that are selling the merchandise. That's like saying Caitlin Clark's the 9th best guard.
Right.
It's asinine. Okay, so stop doing that. Just say, hey, listen, this guy's the best at this position. This guy's the best at the position. Let's match them up. Yeah, honestly, I do agree with Paul Skeens being there. Because when I'm tuning into a game and Paul Skeens is pitching, I'm watching every pitch. He might not statistically be as good as some of the other guys, but that's because they're surrounded by an all-star team. Like Jazz Chisholm. You think if Jazz Chisholm's on the Marlins this year, he's making the All-Star team? Maybe, because he might be the only guy that's the best player on the team. Right, exactly. But you're not tuning into any Marlins games to watch that dude play.
No problem.
All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back and do Dibbles and Bits next.